Jai Hind everyone. I am Dr. Neha Singh, Assistant Professor of Computer Science Engineering Department in Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. Today we discuss the machine learning approaches. So basically machine learning approaches is various types in like artificial neural network, clustering, reinforcement learning, decision tree, Bayesian network, support vector machine, genetic algorithm. We all discuss all the topics in one by one. So first we discuss artificial neural network. What is artificial neural network? So artificial neural network is a computational model just inspired by the human brain. It's working like the structure is like working as a human brain. So it consists of layer interconnected neurons that process information through weighted connection. In this artificial neural network, here in this given figure, various numbers of dendroids. It's all the dendroids are as the input and all the exon produces as the output. So in the artificial neural network, we use the various types of inputs layers, hidden layer and output layer. So in which artificial neural network we also use activation functions, linear functions, different types of using activation functions. So artificial neural network are widely used in machine learning, deep learning tasks like classification, recognition, pattern recognition, and also be used for the decision making process. So artificial neural network basically contains the artificial neuron and the neurons are called the units. These units are arranged in a series of layers that together constitute the whole artificial neuron in a system. A layer can have only a dozen units of millions of units, as this depends on how the complex neural network will require to learn hidden pattern in a data set, which means how the input layer produce the input layers to connected to the hidden layer and then produce the outputs. So in artificial neural network has an input layer, an output layer, and also as well as a hidden layer. So the input layer receives data from the outside world and analyze or learn about. Then this layer data processed through one or multiple hidden layers that transform the input into data that is valuable for the output layer. And finally, the output layer provides the output in the form of response of artificial neural network to the input data provided. So in artificial neural network, output by performing the dot product, the input and weight vector, adding in a bias to produce the logic and the applying transforming the functions. So we use the equation for artificial neural network y equal to function of x dot w plus v. X is the input layer, W is a weight and B is bias or logics. So in this given figure, here the numbers of input layers, synaptic weights or hidden layers and use the activation functions and produce the output. Now, various key components used in the artificial neural network like input layer, hidden layer, output layer, weight and biases and activation functions. So, in input layer takes the data and passes into the next layer and hidden layer perform computation by applying weight, bias and various types of activation functions like ReLU functions, sigmoid functions, binary sigmoidal function. So various types of activation function are used. So in output produce the results such as a class level or numerical values. In the next component is weight and biases. So weight and biases determine the strength of the connection between the neurons. Last is the activation functions. So introduce non-linear ReLU, sigmoid, TANH to enable learning complex pattern. Now, next topic is a clustering. So, clustering is basically an unsupervised learning algorithm, and basically, clustering is basically used for the heterogeneous and homogeneous peer finding the heterogeneous and homogeneous peer groups. It means clustering is a process of finding similar groups of objects to the form of cluster, and basically it is an unsupervised machine learning algorithm that acts on unlabeled data set, and a group of data points would come together to form of a cluster in which all the objects would belong to the same group. So clustering or cluster analysis in machine learning technique which groups or unlabeled data. It can be defined a way of grouping the data points into the different cluster consisting of similar data points. In clustering, similar data points is classified in one group and dissimilar data point is classified into another group. So, it is unsupervised method, hence no SIPO reason is provided to the algorithm and it's deal with the unlabeled data set. After applying this clustering technique, each cluster or group is provided with a cluster ID. And machine learning system can use ID to simplify the processing of large and complex data sets. And clustering when you utilize input data to determine pattern and anomalies, similarities in inputs. A good clustering algorithm aims to obtain clusters so clustering basically two types, intercluster or intracluster. So intercluster similarly is low and it means each cluster whole data is a data that is not similar to other data. Now intercluster similarities are high and that implies that data present inside the cluster is similar to the one another. So here the clustering example is here all the data shows the unlabeled data, average number of symptoms per week. Here they give the symptoms of unlabeled data where the symptoms is not classified. After the clustering, symptoms are classified and symptoms are three classes are classified: yellow, green and red. So similar type data is a grouping in one objects. Now next topic is a reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning is basically a feedback based machine learning technique in which agents learns to behave in environment by performing the action and seeing the result of actions. So for each good action, the agent gets a reward or positive feedback, and for each bad action, the agent gets negative or penalty. So in reinforcement learning, the agents learn automatically using feedback without any label data, like unlike supervised learning. Since there is no label data, so agent is bound to learn by its experience. So reinforcement learning is a specific type of problem where decision making is sequential and the goal is long term, such as game playing, robotics. And reinforcement learning is also like error and trial methods, in which here this given figure, 5 states in reinforcement learning, we use the 5 states: agent, environment, action, state and reward. So the term used reinforcement learning, agent. So agent is an entity that can perceive, explore the environment and act upon it. So environment, a situation in which agent is present or surrounded by. In reinforcement learning, we assume the stochastic environment, which means it's random in nature. So actions are the moves taken by agent within the environment. It's upward, backward, left, right, up, down. Now state is a situation returned by the environment after each action taken by the agent. Reward or feedback returned by the return to the agent from the environment to evaluate the action of the agents. Now our next topic is decision tree learning. So basically a decision tree learning is also a supervised learning algorithm which is used for the classification and regression modeling. So regression is a method used for predict modeling, so that trees are used to either classify data or predict what will come next. So decision tree are easy to construct and interpret and often used by data scientists and analysts to explore the new data sets. So decision trees look like a flow chart starting at the root node with the specific questions of data that leads to branches that hold the potential answers of the questions. The branch that lead to the decision called internal nodes, which ask for more questions that lead to the more outcome. This goal or until the data is what called terminal or leaf node in. So in this given figure, decision tree shows the root node, internal node and leaf node. Root node is also called the parent node. Internal node also the child node. Or leaf node subpart of and the leaf node is a subpart of the leaf node is a parent node. Also, this leaf node is a child node. Now, how it's work? How decision tree works? So decision tree are made up of series of questions or conditions that are organized in a hierarchical structure, and each non-leaf node has a condition and each leaf node has a prediction. So the tree starts at the root node with a question, and these branches lead to more questions until data reaches a terminal node or leaf node. Uses of decision tree. So decision tree used in a various field like medical diagnosis, credit scoring, and natural language processing for text classification. Like, now types of decision tree. So decision tree basically are two types: classification tree and regression tree. So classification tree determines whether an event happened or did not events happen. Usually this involve a yes or no outcomes. So regression tree. So regression tree, on the other hand, predict continuous value based on the previous data or information sources. For example, like they can predict the price of whether a customer will purchase egg, including which type of eggs at which store. Our next topic is a Bayesian network. So Bayesian network falls under the category of probabilistic graphical model technique that is used to compute uncertainty by using the concept of probability. So Bayesian belief network, also known as a belief network, Bayesian network, are used to model uncertainties by using directed acyclic graph. So Bayesian network basically are ideal for taking an event that occur and predicting the likelihood that any one of the several possible known causes was the contributing factor. So Bayesian network compact yet expressive representation, efficient reasoning procedure, specify a joint distribution in a structural form. So Bayesian network represent the dependence independence via directed graph. So in Bayesian network there is a there is a direct acyclic using the direct acyclic graph, which means there is a, in their graph there is a no cycle is created. Here in this graph and no any cycle is created. So here the nodes are represent the random variable and edges are represent the direct dependence. Graph is acyclic, which means no direct cycles, and structure of graph conditional independence relationship, and we use two components: graph structure and numerical probabilities. Now our next topic is support vector machine. So support vector machine is basically a supervised learning algorithm which is used for classification as well regression problem. So it is used for but basically it is a support vector machine is basically used for classification problem in machine learning. So the goal of SVM algorithm is to create the best line or decision boundary that can segregate n-dimensional space into the classes so that we can put the new data point in the correct category in the future. This best decision boundary is called a hyperplane. So SVM is basically used to separate the two classes using the hyperplane or decision boundary. So SVM choose the extreme points vector that help in creating the hyperplane. These extreme cases are called as support vector, and hence algorithm is termed as support vector machine. So in this diagram, two classes are given. One is a circle class and one is a square class, and two classes are separated by the one straight line. This is called the hyperplane, and two classes which are nearer to the support vector, so it's called the decision boundary. Dotted line are called the decision boundary, and support vectors are the which are nearer to the hyperplane, and maximum margin shows the best result in SVM. So key concept of support vector machine. SVM is a supervised machine learning algorithm. So SVM requires labels training data, meaning each data point has corresponding class labels. Now next is hyperplane. In n-dimensional space, a hyperplane is a flat f-line subspace of dimension n-1. In SVM, this hyperplane serves as a decision boundary that separates different classes. And one main term is the support vectors. So these are the data point closest to the hyperplane. They are the critical because they are the points that influence the position and orientation of the hyperplane. Removing other points would not change the hyperplane, but removing as a support vector would. Next is a margin. The margin is the distance between the hyperplane and the nearest data points from either class. SVM aims to maximize this margin, leading to a more robust classifier. Example of support vector machine. Here in this class, in this example, two label data is given. One image is shows as a cat, and one is shows as a dog. So dog is a label data set which is already trained by the model, and one new unseen data set is cat is arrived. So model train the data, train the cat picture and predict this is a cat or dog. Then model match the features, similarity features of dog and cat. Then model predict the output, it is a cat. So SVM algorithm can be basically used for face detection, image classification, text categorization, and many more. So types of SVM. So basically two types of SVM. One is a linear SVM and second one is a non-linear SVM. So in a linear SVM, used for linearly separable data. Linearly separable data means, which means a straight line. If data can be classified in two classes using a single straight line, such data is termed as linearly separable data, and classifier is used called as linearly SVM classifier. Now next is a non-linear SVM. So non-linear SVM, just name shows as it use non-linear data which is not separated by a straight line. Tick. In non-linear SVM is used for non-linear separated, which means if a data set cannot be classified using a straight line, then such data is termed as non-linear data set, and classified is called as non-linear SVM classifier. How does SVM work? So in this given picture, two classes are given. One is a circle class and one is a square class. In two classes classified by the straight line. This straight line called the hyperplane. And in this given figure, classes are separated using the straight line is called hyperplane, and which are nearer and which vector are nearer to support in hyperplane is called the support vector. Maximum margin shows the best result in SVM, yeah, optimum result in SVM, give the optimal result, and dotted line shows the decision boundary. Now our next topic is genetic algorithm. So genetic algorithm is a basically optimization algorithm or evolutionary algorithm which is inspired by the natural selection and genetics. So genetic algorithm was developed by John Holholt in 1960, and genetic algorithm solve complex optimization problems by exploring a large search space, often where traditional method fails. So genetic algorithm is based on the natural selection, and it is also based on the Darwin principles. And genetic algorithm mimic the process of natural selection where the fittest and individuals survive and reproduce. So in genetic algorithm, basically we use three operations: selection, crossover, and mutation. In selection, we choose the fittest individuals. In now next is a crossover, yani, which means recombination, combining two parents to produce offspring, which means combining two individuals and produce the offspring operation. Next operation is mutation, introducing random changes to maintain diversity, or change the and changing in the bits. So genetic algorithm process. Here in this given figure, genetic algorithm is basically 6 steps. First is steps initialization. So initialize the random population. In the initialization phase is initialize the random peoples, random population, random individuals. Now next step is the fitness assignment. In fitness assignment, each individuals measure the fitness value, fitness function. Now in a fitness assignment, then after that selection process. In the selection process, we choose the two highest individual fitness population. Then after that selection, we perform in two individuals the crossover operation, yani reproduction operation perform. Then after the mutation change produce the new offspring or new populations, and then match the criteria. If the criteria is matched, stop, and if criteria is not met, again we calculate the fitness value, perform after selection operation, crossover mutation, and check the criteria. If criteria is met, stop, not met, again perform this step. So genetic algorithm process, initializations. In initialization phase, create the random population, random individuals, and second is the fitness evaluation. Evaluate the fitness of everyone, every individual, every population. Then now next is the selection. Choose the fittest individuals. Now next is the crossover and mutation. Produce new offspring or new generation, replacement from a new population. Repeat, go through this cycle until termination. Now next is a data science versus machine learning. So what is the difference between data science and what is a machine learning? So data science is a broad field that involves analyzing data to extract insight, while machine learning is a subset of data science that focus on building algorithms that learn from data. So machine learning basically branch of artificial intelligence and computer model that utilized by data science to achieve its objective, and it gives machines the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. So here the basic difference between data science and machine learning. So data science is basically a broad field that involves collecting, processing, analyzing, and visualizing the data to extract insights. In machine learning is a subset of data science focused on the developing algorithm that learn from data to make predictions, different predictions. And data science scope uses the encompasses data engineering, statistics, machine learning, and data, and also used for data visualization. And machine learning is basically focused on designing and training predictive models. Goal of data science to extract insights, useful informations, can make data driven decision and solve business problem. And machine learning goal is create self-learning system that improve performance without explicit program. In data science, techniques basically use statistics, data cleaning, data visualization, machine learning. In machine learning, supervised learning, unsupervised reinforcement learning techniques are used. In data science, data handling work with structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data, while machine learning primarily works with structured and semi-structured data. In data science, basically tools and libraries used like SQL, Panda, Tableau, Hadoop, Excel, Power BI, while machine learning tools and library used like TensorFlow, scikit-learn, PyTorch, Keras, XGBoost. An outcome of data science is basically reports, dashboard, business insights, and predictive model. An output of the machine learning is AI model, automative recommendation, and pattern recognition, face detection, object detection, like email filtering, speech recognition, and many more. That's all. Thank you.